Hey everybody, Coach Brian again from Minlax.com. Today we're going to work on our shooting strings on this original Proton Plus, and we'll get this thing done pretty quick here. So we're going to start off with our top string, and that's going to be just a regular piece of nylon. Go ahead, this is a piece of sidewall, and you can use sidewall, top string, it's all going to work out. So we're going to go ahead and start out. I like to start in my third row of diamonds going down. So here we have our first row. There's our second row, and this will be our third row. That's the row we're going to want to use. So I'm going to start over here, and we're going to send one end of our string through this hole. If you don't have the hole, you can just wrap right around the sidewall, around the plastic on that rib, and that's fine too. But for this, we're going to go ahead and use this hole right here. Slide this string through, and then what I'm going to do is kind of even it up. Make sure these strings are the same length. Alright, and then starting from the back, I'm going to weave this one through, and then the front one is going to come over the top. And now I'm going to do the same. My back one's going to come through the next diamond going across, and again I'm in this third row down, and then this one's going to come over the top. And now it's going to come in from the back. You guessed it, over the top. So we're just going to repeat this, going across the whole stick. We want to make sure this doesn't get twisted or gets kind of weird in through there. If it does, just kind of spin that string around and it'll start to straighten itself out. If you need to, you can always back it up one or two rows. And again, just making sure we're always doing the same stuff here. In from the back, and then I'm going over the top. And this is just one style of shooting string you can use, but just about all my sticks. Oh, now see, I got talking, I goofed it up, so I was just testing you guys. I'm going to start from the back, coming in, and then send the front over the top. So again, there's a lot of different styles of top strings we can use. This one's probably the most simple out there. Nice and easy to teach, easy to do, but it is still pretty effective. So again, come in from the back, and then from the front we go over. And I'll take that same one from the back, in through the side, and then over the top. And in from the back, and then over in the front. Almost done. In from the back, over from the front. And now, I just want to bring this tail end through my hole over here so that we're the same as on the other side. So we'll just go ahead, send that through. You might need to have the string melted down a little bit to help slide that in. Otherwise it's just going to push right through, pull from the other side. We'll get that tight. And when we're doing our shooters, take a little while to get kind of used to how tight we want it in. But good rule of thumb is our top shooting string needs to be the tightest. As they work down, we get just a little bit looser. But the top bit of torsion here is going to control the release of the ball from the pocket. Otherwise, if we didn't have that and it was nice and loose, the ball would come up and smack here on the top, and you hear a little clicking noise. If we get it too tight, we're going to create a ton of whip, and that ball is just going to shoot right down at the goalie's feet. So this feels pretty good here. So now I'm going to go ahead, slide this guy sideways. You can see we've got one end through the hole in our sidewall, the other behind. If we can't make it through that hole, we're going to want to come around this sidewall. So we're in there, so we're going to go ahead, tie this guy off. Again, nice and simple, a couple ways to do these top strings, but this one's certainly our easiest. So now we can see it coming across here, get that nice curl going across. It's going to help channel the ball right up here towards the top. Alright, so now coming across, we can use one of our hockey skates, and show you guys a different style of shooting string here. This one's one of the ones I use on just about all the traditional pockets. Go ahead and throw it in this one even though it's mesh. So again, I like to start going around the plastic sidewall, and then we're going to start from the back again. And I'm actually just going to skip one of these rows of the diamonds. We'll come in this next one here. And so now that I've evened both of these out, we can let go of the one in the front. So just from the one coming from behind, I'm just going to weave this in and out of these diamonds, and we want to make sure we keep this nice and straight so that it doesn't get twisted or bunched up in the front or in the back. I want to keep it nice and orderly. And again, I'm just weaving this one in and out. Nothing real high tech here. Just make sure we don't get it all twisted up. And finish this over here on this side. Now we can let go of this end over here. So as we're coming back, we'll grab our part that's left over on the string, and now we're going to come up and over through this first diamond here. Make sure this doesn't get too twisted. We keep it nice and even. So as you can see, when I come around from the back, it's the same there. We're just kind of coming and it lays over flat. And now again, we're looking at the back. I'm going over to the next row of diamonds and under the lace there. I'm going to pull this through, and we pull it over, and so that stays nice and flat. So again, now we'll spin it around. We're looking at the front. I'm going to bring this up and over this next over the next row of lace into the next row of diamonds. And again, as we pull this in, we want to make sure we just get this one kind of half turn with the strings so they stay even. And then again, show you guys from the back, just coming up now under this next piece of the lace right there. And now again, I pull this through, and we're going to keep it nice and straight so they're not getting twisted up. So again, we can look at the front. We can bring this up and over this next set here. Again, we're keeping that nice and smooth. And then from the back, it's going under this time. You can see it coming out there again. Keeping this nice and smooth in the back. We're not letting it get twisted up over itself. A couple more of these to finish up here. So we'll go ahead and again from the front, we're going to come over. And again, I want to keep this nice and smooth so we're not bunching up on ourselves. And now again, I come from the back towards the front. And anytime we're in the back, we're going under that lace. And then just like right now on the front, we go over the lace. Again, just a little bit of time to make sure these are staying nice and straight. We don't want those twisting up and getting bunched over. That will affect how the ball releases. We're going to finish this guy up. Coming under there, and again, I'm going to bring this around my sidewall. So as you guys can see, this is here on the side, and we're just going to go ahead and use that same knot like we did before and tie this guy off. And as you guys can see, we've got our second shooting string going in there. Again, we're getting that same arc going across. This one's just a little more loose in that top string, so we get this gradual release to this to the point there where it's going to launch the ball off of our stick. Alright, I'm going to show you guys one more style of shooting string on this one, and then we'll kind of move on. And once again, another piece of the hockey lace. Again, I like to use a nylon on top, and then as I go down, I use the hockey laces. I think the nylon gives a little bit of crispness at the end, and the hockey laces kind of cushion that ball and get it right in the great position we want. Alright, so again, we're going to skip a row coming down. For this style, I'm actually going to start it one more row of diamonds lower. So I'm going to come in from the back. As you guys can see here, bring that forward, and again, we'll bring one of these around our plastic sidewall there. We'll go ahead and tilt that down so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so you've got one end coming through the back, coming through the mesh, and our other end's right here around the plastic sidewall. My end that I just brought into the mesh, I'm now going to bring up over this diagonal into this row of diamonds. And now it's going to start going over and under this row here. And so from the back, I'm coming in right below. And now from the front, we're going to come in over the top. And so again, we're keeping this half twist coming so that the lace isn't getting bunched up. Just a nice even transition as it rolls across the mesh here. So again, I'm going to keep this up from the back. It's kind of going under this row, and then as I come around to the front, it's going to come over the top. And again, we just want to make sure this is staying nice and straight through here, and we're not getting bunched up. Once again, we're going under from the back. As we're coming around to the front, keep that nice and smooth. Just bring that into that top hole and bring this up. If it does get bunched up, it's not the end of the world. Just kind of back up a little bit, loosen up what you just did, and then restring. And so once again, you're going to finish this row, come under from the back, and come around and in through the top. And again, from the back, we're going under. Keep it out there, keeping all this nice and smooth. And then this is going to come over the front. And once again, under from the back. And coming again, we're keeping this from getting bunched up. Coming around in there through the top. And almost done here. So we're going to finish this side. Going under. And once again, over. And just for fun, we'll go under again. And again, if you notice, we're finishing not by going into this last hole. Same thing, we didn't start over here on this side, and we're actually going down a level. And that's going to give us an extra little bit of curl in this. So now that we've gone down, we're going to go ahead, bring our string around the plastic there, and that's just going to hang out. So now we're going to go back to our other side, the full rest of the amount of string, and we're going to do the opposite of what we did before. So in this case, we're going to go under from the front, and then we're going to go over from the back. And again, so now in the front we're going under this row. Again, we want to keep these nice and straight. We don't want this twisting or bunching up. Again, we can spin around so you can see what we're doing back here. So now coming around the back of the head, doing the same thing, but I'm going over this row here and bringing that in so it lines up. And now from the front, going under, pulling this through. Again, right now you're looking at the back of the head. You can see how this forms, and this should look the same as it does in back as it does in front. Nice and even with these shooting strings rolling over each other. I think that's why I call this a rolled shooter. And maybe it's not just me that calls it that, maybe a bunch of people do. But anyway, we're going to keep this up, and as you can see, you can kind of see there's a little bit of mesh in between there, in between there, in between there. Same thing you can see on the front. As we're doing this, we're covering that up so you just see this solid line from the shooter going across. So we'll finish up this row by showing you guys the front as I'm coming around, and you can tell by looking at it, this bottom string certainly looks puffier, a little thicker. What it is, that means it's a little bit looser. So again, my top is nice and tight. As I start working down, they start getting a little more loose, and that's just going to help with cushioning the ball for catching and setting up the release of the throw. So again, we're going to finish this up just simply going over and under, doing the opposite of our first time across. Trying to keep this nice and consistent. You don't want the left side to be really loose and puffy and the right side to be nice and tight. Then the ball is going to probably shoot off to one side. And if it was the right side that was nice and tight, it's going to shoot off to the right. But regardless, you want to keep those nice and even. And as I'm finishing up here, under from this side, now we just need to finish over. And again, instead of coming straight across, I'm going to finish by going down in a diagonal into this next row here. And now I'm ready to tie off. So we'll spin over here to the side where you can see the two strings ready to go. We're just going to tie these together, and this will be my second lace shooting string. So as we can see, we're pretty good to go. We've got our 3 shooting strings and our Proton Plus looking pretty good. Gotta love the orange and the green. Again, that's 3 different styles of shooting strings. We'll have more posted coming soon here in the Minlax app and minlax.com. But until the next time, thanks for tuning in, and this has been Coach Brian from Minlax.